Hey, shalom, shalom. This is Keskia Yisrael Hamore, which means the teacher. Today I want to share with you the keys to becoming a master at public speaking. Learning from the best so that you can be your best. But before I do so, I want to just quickly qualify why you should listen to me. And I want to do so not from a place of arrogance, but from a place of humility and authenticity. And the reason why I want to make this very clear now is a few of my fans, or I would say colleagues, persons that care about you and about me, have asked me to clearly outline why I should be listened to. Now, I've been a public speaker since the age of 8 years old, but I've been training under a teacher and a guide from the age of 17 to address an audience in the area of Hebrew language and cultural history, and that's about 22 years or so. Now, after that, I've been able to grow and build a career in the physical fitness industry. So I've been a physical conditioning expert or performance enhancement specialist, and that's before NASM started PES courses. I was able to just coin my own, block out of the fitness industry, working with some of the best athletes ever since 2005. I completed my fitness and nutrition course, and thereafter I was able to work with some of the best athletes in Guyana, South America, and some in the Caribbean as well. And those athletes included Ramnari Sarwan, former #1 batsman for the West Indies in the world, Nicolette Fernandez, one of the greatest squash players in our hemisphere, who incidentally she lived for a good period of time in the top 20 of the best female squash players in the world, and she's a 5 or 6 time champion for the Caribbean. Now, in saying that, still you shouldn't just say, okay, good. Oh, because he has those accolades or the experiences that he has, he should be listened to. I think that you should just qualify the content and take notes and see if this will be of value for you. But I promise you, if you listen and you apply the techniques, the tools, the nuts and the bolts today that will be given to you, you will be a great public speaker. You'll have standing ovations. You will also receive, this is the key, you will receive rehiring opportunities then. You'll be called back to speak. Now, for the last 6 years, I've been a paid public speaker, and that qualifies you to be a professional public speaker. I've been able to speak in companies across Guyana, the length and breadth of it, as well as some of the top high schools in Guyana. And I will share with you some of those stories to help you to learn the key concepts, the keys to becoming a masterful stage presenter. Now, this will be a 4-part series lesson, and I want to coin it, or say rather, it's a lesson, because there are lessons in it that are of incredible value that you can take away and you will use it. And I guarantee you, in 1 year's time, if you listen to these 4 videos over and over, and you take notes and you apply it, you practice it, guaranteed in 1 year, people will be coming to you and asking you, can you teach me to do what you do on stage? Because the way you're doing it, it's unbelievable. And I'm saying this because this is what has happened to me. Now, from 1998 to about 2014, I hardly did any research on public speaking. But then one of my clients that I was working with as a fitness professional, as her personal trainer, she had a business with over 30 employees. And then one day she said, Mr. Israel, I would like you to come and speak to my staff, because the way that you speak inspire and motivate me and the rest of the clients here. You You move me to do things that I don't think that is possible that I can do. So I smiled and I said, so how much will you pay? She never answered up until today, she never answered. But the story goes that she had me come in and speak to her staff on one occasion. And then she brought me back on a second occasion. And then I was asked to do a third talk. And then one day I was asked to do 2 sessions in one day. So what I learned from that was, if you deliver in a manner that satisfies the meeting planner or your client or customer, you'll be booked again. Now, when I started out in 2014 in August, I decided first to give out as much free talks as possible. And that was my testing ground. Now, this is how I was able to develop my speaking skills. And I'm saying that you can learn this as well as you can use other avenues and tools to enhance your speaking capability. Now, there are people that go to Toastmasters. I've never seen a Toastmaster that I would say, he or she is a bad speaker. So Toastmasters is great for you. You can learn there. But I never went to a Toastmaster session. What I did, you see the books behind me? I went out and I bought the top 10 books that I could find on public speaking. And I studied them. I give myself a target. I was consuming content to where I was doing 6 books per month. And I read and I reread these books. Then, and also note, when I was reading these books, I was relentlessly taking notes. Also, I decided to listen to the best public speakers in the world. So, Les Brown, Brian Tracy, Tony Robbins, Brendan Burchard, Dennis Kimbrough, and the great orator from Ghana who's a writer, Mr. George Fraser, who wrote Click. And that's a great book on relationships that you can, use as well. That's not in this list that I have here, these 10, but it's a very, very valuable book that will help you in public speaking. I read 3 Dale Carnegie books. No. 5 Dale Carnegie books on public speaking and how to win friends and influence people. I've been able to also study the world public speaking champion, Craig Valentine. And he was a great, great speaker. He wrote this book along with Mitch Meyerson, World Class Speaking. And this is probably the second best book on public speaking that I've read. The one that hit me the most, No Fear Speaking. I've read this book about 4 times, and I've been able to share it with others and do one-on-one coaching. I was able to work with the Miss Ghana 2016, if I'm correct, and several of the pageant participants to help them in their public speaking skills in Ghana for the national pageantry. I can't put it into perspective what they were doing, but they came and they asked to teach them how to present on stage, and I was able to help them succeed in that area. So this is what I want you to do. Create a map for your learning on how you're going to master the art of public speaking. And what I did as well is I chose 12 months to grow relentlessly in this area only. I was not reading anything else. I wasn't reviewing anything else. 6 days a week, every day I read something on public speaking. Also, every day I was looking at no less than 2 videos on public speaking, checking them out, scrutinizing how they use the techniques, the ideas and concepts that the greatest speakers used. But then I stumbled in the last 2 years upon Eric Edmeades, and I will tell you this. I believe in giving credit where it's due. Go on Mind Valley that educational platform and look at part 1, part 2 of Eric Edmeades' Effective Public Speaking, how to be great at it, or his talk on the 5 steps to a signature talk, and you would not regret it. I'm not putting no medals on myself or putting myself on a pedestal. If you learn from Eric, his speaking style is unique and phenomenal. And I've been able to take my public speaking capability from this point to this point in the last 2 years because of studying and applying the concepts, the techniques, the ideas, the practical ideas from the teachings of Eric Edmeades. And I want to share today some of those same concepts, those bolts and nuts, so you'll be tightened up and firm in your position on how to become a masterful public speaker. Now, here's the thing about public speaking. You have to be clear on your objectives before you step on stage. This is what I was able to do over these years. I was able to learn and apply what is called the concept of a speech map. So I know where I'm starting and I know where I'm going to end. Some public speakers use the idea of a plane. Your takeoff and then your landing. If you're clear on how you will start and how you will finish, you have basically the sandwich. All in between, you will get clearer on that eventually, but be clear on how you'll start, and the idea is to start in a compelling way. Start with a big promise. Tell your audience, today you will receive ideas, concepts, and tools that will transform your speaking capability in 1 year, that will affect you for the rest of your life, only if you listen and apply. Or you can say, today what I'm about to give to you will double, triple, quadruple, or quintuple your income if you listen, take notes, and apply it. Now, some might say that that's a bit arrogant, but they will still perk up and sit at the end of their chair or their seat, because they will say, okay, this sounds interesting. I would certainly like to hear what he has to say. When you start, you can also start with silence. Just taking in your audience, scanning the audience, looking to the right, the middle, and then to the left. That's your right. Then your left, because it's the opposite for me. Then, as you take in the audience, you smile. And you know, when you smile, people naturally smile back. Well, if you have a very difficult audience, they might be very serious, stoic. And I recall once speaking at one school early this year, and this was probably the most difficult audience that I've had so far. The students seemed to be very upset that they were told, and this was the 5th forms and 6th form students of a particular school, no names. But when they came in the room, they were slow in getting themselves together because they weren't prepared. They took their own time. But then eventually, I started out and I looked at everyone. And in some ways, they probably got the idea that this speaker seems to not know what he wants to say. And then I smiled. And hardly anyone in the room smiled back. But then I started with a story. I started telling them about my days at school and how I disliked the structure in school. And you see their eyes started to light up. And I asked, some of you, are you feeling the same way? Don't you feel the same way some days? And we began to create rapport or connection. And then from there, we went on a journey together. And by the end of the talk, we were scheduled for a 45-minute talk. The teacher said, carry on. We end up doing about an hour and a half discussion. And then the children came and flocked at the end asking questions. And also they were asking, when will you come again, Mr. Israel? Because of how we connected. But that took work. So begin with a compelling start and create a map that takes you to an end that is unforgettable. Closing. Many speakers don't know how to close. When you start your speech, when you start your preparation for your speech, begin with the end in mind, just as the great writer Stephen Covey wrote in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Begin with the end in mind. Be clear on how you're going to take off and how you're going to land. And once you're clear on that, then you're going to put the pieces in to lay the rest of the foundation for your talk. So today, this is the first part of your lessons on how to become a masterful stage presenter. Looking forward to seeing you and hearing from you. And also looking forward to sharing with you video 2. Cheers. Shalom, shalom.